Thank you for being with us, everyone. Thank you, John. Those of you who are guests, my name is Michael Mirdad, and I serve here as part of the spiritual leadership. As is our usual custom, can anyone share with me what topics are dear to you or necessary for you at this time that you'd like to hear about? Keep it nice and grounded and simple, one or two words. Pardon? Discern. Divine love.
How about the known and the unknown?
Feminine energy and health and wellness.
The known and the unknown, the seen and the unseen.
Gnomes, he said.
No.
Gnomes and the unknowns. Anyone else? Pardon? Okay, that's good. Thank you. All right. One of the most interesting things about, being on earth, being on the path. First of all, if you're not on the spiritual path, you're just asleep, You're not bad. And people in your life that aren't, you mentioned family, people in your life that are not overtly on the path, they're asleep. Forgive them, they know not what they do. You're not better than them. On a 0 to 10 scale, you might be a 5 and they might be a 0, and you're like, what's up with these family members? Keep that attitude, and tomorrow they'll be a 10 and you'll still be a 5. Just let people do their thing. It's where they're at for now. And it's a very common thing where parents or people think they're doing the right thing to say to their kids, you need to be on the path, or I'm concerned. There's the Christian parents that are telling their children they're going to go to hell. There are other people telling, you're going to reincarnate, or whatever their tradition is, their beliefs are, telling people that they're flawed or having a problem, not evolved enough, not evolving quickly enough, and so on. Keep in mind that's a common thing. But keep this in mind. They're not on your path. That's all you're really worried about. And they shouldn't be, which means they're right, you're wrong. When you go and correct people for not being Christian enough or this enough or that, all you're really saying is that they're not on your path. I think it's righteous to say to your children, oh my God, guess what? I just realized, don't blame me, don't say Michael told me. Just say, I just realized all this time, husband, wife, partner, children, whomever, only if it's appropriate to talk to them like this, but I realized I have been telling you should read this, you should learn this and this, should. But I realized you are on your path. For me to say that meant there's no God. You weren't on a path. Who was I to say that? You are on the path. I don't care if they're doing heroin. Everyone has a soul or spirit, yes or no? Yes. Which means every path they walk is called a spiritual path. Remember, you weren't always as perfect as you are now. Come on. You mentioned patience. That's it. Patience. Patience of the saints. There actually is a God. You don't actually have to fill in the spaces you think God left out. Fix people and so on. Everything's okay. I'm not talking about being worthless, not praying, not trying to do good in the world. I'm just saying, what a nice thing to just breathe and know they're on their path and you're on your path. All roads lead home at one point or another. What you can say to them is, I'm sorry, I might have come across like I was telling you that you need to get on the path, which I thought was my path. You're already on your path. Well, Mom, but I don't even believe in God. Doesn't matter. That's also part of your path. See, just let it be. But at the same time, you can say, everyone's going home. You don't have to preach this stuff. Again, just knowing it conveys a vibration to them that they feel accepted and loved by you. Rather than corrective wording, You're sending a frequency, and that's actually very healing. So all paths lead home. What you can righteously say, because you're talking about you. When you say you're not on the path, that's incorrect wording. When you say, as your mom, as your partner, what I meant to say was, because you're on the path, what I meant to say was, I just hope for you the easiest way rather than the hardest way. Am I allowed to say that? Yes, you know why? Because I'm talking about me. I didn't say you're on a bad path. I said, I would like you to find the easiest path. That's just my preference. See, that's a loving thing. That's a loving gesture. But we forget that everyone has a soul. Everyone's on the spiritual path because they have a spirit in them. In reality, you, me, all of us are only ever learning the easy way or the hard way. But everyone's learning. I don't care if they came back as a Hindu, an atheist, or anything. Whatever the case may be. Everyone's going home. God wills that no soul shall perish, scriptures tell us. Now, what are the odds then? If God wills that no soul should end up in hell, I don't know, call me silly, call me a gambler, but I think those are good odds. I mean, God said, no, I will not allow that to happen. What, is God up against some other force? No, there's only God. People are dying and having near-death experiences and saying, all the religions have it wrong. There's no guilt, there's no shame. It's just us awakening. When we awaken, when we wake up, as we're awakening, we're just learning the easier path. You think it's actually different traditions. You think it's a different book you read. It isn't. It's actually just me finding an easier path. Make sense? That's all it really is. Lifetime after lifetime, a reincarnation, you're clearing old stuff. You're clearing stuff you don't really have. You're just getting over yourself. I think I have 10 issues. Okay, and so it is. The universe goes, okay. You want to do those all in one lifetime? Would you like 10 lifetimes? Would you like to do half of one issue in each lifetime and live 20 more times? I mean, it's up to you. Oh, no. I'm going to need 100 lifetimes because my issues are worse than everybody else's. And so it is. That's all it can ever do. When you say, I heard about this thing called grace, where I am as God created me and I don't have to do anything. And so it is. It's pretty cool. There are no shortcuts, meaning you can't just, I'm about to die, so Om Mani Padme Hum, Boom Shakalaka, 3 Hail Marys and 4 all, you can't hedge your bets like that. You can't try to do like a fake, transition into enlightenment and act like you got it. If you haven't lived it, it isn't there. You can be on your deathbed and go, I decided there's a God. Wait, did you live that? No, then just shush. You got to come back with what you lived, not just what you theorized at your last breath. Those little last moment testimonials, people think that's fantastic. It's better than nothing. But, those last minute, those are kind of fake. I decided to forgive everyone when in fact you lived hatefully to everyone. That's what you're carrying with you. What you lived. You got to live it to redeem it. So there's this word called integration. Integration means you become. One of you gave the word truth. And divine love, for that matter. These are words. They're just words. Truth, divine love, etc. You have to integrate these things. You can go to a seminar on the truth of God and spend a weekend there and walk out having gotten nothing from it. Or got it in here. Did it fill every cell? Did you breathe it in and go, I am becoming what I heard today? If you don't become, you haven't changed. Becoming it. Well, how do I become it? Well, let's pretend you don't know intellectually how to become. Practice breathing it in and imagining that you are. For example, peace. You can sit there and go, okay, I choose peace. Well, great. Did you become it? Well, I said it. It doesn't matter. Did you breathe it in, feel it, imagine it, penetrating, permeating every cell? I am at peace. I am at peace. I get it. Forgiveness, yes, there should be this feeling of something just changed in me. I feel lighter. When you do like, fine, I forgive you, you can see that that doesn't carry with it like this, oh, like this holy transformation. We have to really believe and put these things on and become them. Really becoming these things. Truth, such a loose word. I want to know the truth of God. And the bottom line is, it's kind of like in sobriety. You're done. You reach bottom and you want something else. It's kind of like that. You have to truly, truly want. A Course in Miracles plays with this at times in the book where it says, whatever it is that you truly want is what you're seeing. Well, that's not true because I'm having a challenged relationship. Because you still want it. I don't want it. Well, see, you're thinking I mean intellectually and consciously. You don't remember that there's an unconscious you that might think, for example, well, who in their right mind would want a challenging partnership? Well, it may not be like that linear consciousness. Here's what you might do. I still have issues with patience. That person's in your life and you're wishing they weren't there. But you already know you need to work on patience so they can't be retired from being in your life. Because they're carrying something of you, something for you. Does that make sense? Okay. So everyone's on the spiritual path, and people have these names for different things. What are you studying? Oh, I'm studying UFOs, aliens. Okay, I'm studying multidimensionality. I'm studying shamanism. I'm studying healing arts or whatever. Guys, none of these things are outside. They're not, they are not outside of us. I stand here, and I'm very grateful that I came to understand how this works. Because the kingdom of heaven is within you, but everything is within you. Heaven and hell are right here. We have 7 chakras. And this came to me because instead of talking stuff, I always had this tendency to become what I was talking about. I could just somehow feel it and see it instead of just kind of seeing it with my head and pointing it out. A shaman sits next to a shrub and he goes into a sleep or trance, and the shrub tells him all of its properties. You've heard of this, maybe? Well, how can that happen? That's because we're all connected. So it's kind of what I do. I kind of find myself, any topic. There's a time when I taught a lot more about healing arts, a lot more about emotional healing. Time I taught about tantra and sacred sexuality. Any of these topics. When I did it, I never read a book and then talked about it. I sat next to it and let it download its topic to me, like I do this Sundays or whenever. I let the thing download. And then I become it. So I become the topic of sacred sexuality or sacred herbalism and then I started going, well, anything I go to do, it becomes a sacred version of it. I don't talk one-dimensionally about a topic. It can go anywhere because it's all connected, right? So I'm going, sacred sexuality, boom, instead of like, well, it's about this. It was more like multidimensionally. And then whatever other topic for that matter. I remember one of the most well-known, renowned teachers on that topic, Tantra, sacred sexuality, and so forth. I spoke at this conference, and he watched me do things because people are talking either about bodies or about techniques. And you go to a Tantra conference, it's, they kind of like, hello, everyone. You look beautiful. What are you doing this afternoon, beloved? There's a little bit of that stuff that goes on, and they never got me. They would introduce me. And Michael Mirdad, he's known all over the world, and what he does is, and it's like they would come up with this, he teaches the Christ teachings of sacred. I'm like, I wouldn't even want to hear me. Like, where do you come up with these? This is because their heads don't get it. So I do a talk, and during the talk, I activate people and do this and that, and fancy things that I'm showing people that typically people can't do, and energy up through their body, and they're having all these crown experiences and blah, 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 blah. And this one teacher, he said to my assistant, I've never seen anything like it, because he's one of the renowned teachers at this conference. He said, I'd never seen anything like that. He said he's like a shamanic version of a tantra teacher, like meaning that he's with them. He's not lecturing at, he's with them. I felt really amazed to hear that. It was like he saw it. And what I mean by that is an integrated version of it. See, any topic. I don't care if you're a football trainer. There's a way of telling people how to do, and then there's a way of showing them how to be. The letting go of all that, the external pieces and thinking processes. So on that note, what I'm saying is, I didn't just go, guess what? There are 7 primary chakras, and become a chakra teacher. Instead, it downloads so much more. And it's like, we are, the chakras are your states of consciousness. See, I'm not talking about energy centers in the body. They're states of your consciousness. You have a root chakra because you have a root consciousness. You have a solar plexus chakra because you have a solar plexus consciousness. You have a heart chakra because you have a heart consciousness. You see? It represents consciousness. And then one thing after another, downloading, this is, oh my God. I mean, was like I was like 20 and all this is coming to me and I'm like, everything is right here. Talk about a topic. God, the kingdom of heaven is within you. What direction do you pray when you usually pray? Look up. Why? Because the kingdom of heaven is your upper 3 chakras. Got that? These centers. Topic, sacred sexuality. Well, we know that all the chakras come into all topics to a degree. But there's root chakra topics. There's solar plexus. There's heart. There's navel. There's the throat chakra. All of these represent different things. So anything you've ever studied isn't better than any other. It's just another topic in the chakras. Capiche? So we're becoming and learning to become more integrated. So the chakras, the centers in the body, oh, I get it. I get it. So when you're studying earth religions, shamanism, going to the gym, when you're sick, anything physical that you do, it's technically you refining your understanding of your own physical root chakra self. That's all you're doing. Had a car accident, it's a root chakra experience. I know it's other levels too, but primarily root. Why do we know that? Because it's physical. It's an experience of the physical nature. Makes sense. When you decide to do 12-step work, inner recovery work, inner child work, family of origin work, psychic development, and so on, navel center. So instead of I'm doing this and it's better than what you're doing, it's just another part of me. When you study focus and willpower and knowledge and sciences, metaphysical sciences or earthly sciences, biology or metabiology, it's solar plexus. And when you start studying love and forgiveness, it tells us you're really getting into your heart. Now what some people misunderstand, even if you've had a notion, an idea of what I'm saying, you'll go, yeah, oh my God, I started doing my heart. That's much better than those. Guys, they all need to be glowing beautifully. If you're all heart, but you're not grounded, how much good is that doing? It all has to be glowing, bright, beautiful. So you want to be an embodied master, having every chakra glowing. It's not that impressive to have the lower centers glowing and this is all shut off. It's like, wow, the lights are on, but nobody's home, man. Like, where are you? Like, are you no consciousness? No, man. I just, tailgating parties, that's it. And tractor pulls, like, okay, great. That's just down here. Are you bad? No. You're just, hi, nice to meet you. Hey, man, I'm just studying my root chakra a bit. And that sounds really appropriate. They're not bad. That's what they're doing. That's all. It's okay. And then there are the people that are really breathy. They're all up here and not down here. They're not grounded. Show up. Where are you? Sorry, kids. Oh, I forgot. Mommy was meditating. But Mom, you were supposed to pick us up yesterday at school. Or we're still sitting in the schoolyard. Well, kids, just learn to be. Yeah, be taken from social services. Show up. I'm so spiritual, I don't have any money in the bank, and they're looking for me. It's not right. It's not righteous. It's not grounded. Fully glowing. Bring love, God, presence into everything you do, everything you are. All of these centers should be awakened. When they're not, there's hurt. There's wounds. And I understand it. Cry the wounds, scream the wounds, process the wounds, counsel the wounds, 12-step the wounds, work them. Do not get into the lofty stuff where, I don't really want to address any of that. I'm just going to meditate all the time. That kind of attempt to override, it just doesn't work. Bring it to the light. Bring this stuff, work this stuff till it's dissipated. And so, these chakras, there's the upper 3 chakras which represent the Trinity of God, which I'll come back to. So as we're growing, you might think, I'm in my heart, that's above these. Let me explain again. They should be equally glowing. Okay? So to say you're in your heart, that's usually not even your heart. People can say, I love you with all my heart, and really all they want to do is hook up on their physical chakra. Okay? People can say, I'm totally in love with you, and it's emotional chakra. Very rarely, when humans talk about their heart, do they mean their heart. Because this is a place of unconditional love. If somebody says, wow, I really sense that something's meant to happen between us, you're probably not even telling me about your heart. Because if you were, you'd be talking about the collective. Then you'd be saying to me, thank you. You know what? I'm really glad to be connecting more with the collective. Now you don't need me, and I like that. Now we don't have codependence. What you're saying is, I feel so, instead of in love with you, don't leave me or I'll die, it's, the country western songs, right? Instead, it's through this experience, of even being in your presence, I'm feeling an activation of greater love for all. I know that doesn't sound stimulating and exciting. I understand that. I do, I get it. We want to single out somebody or, have a party of some kind of nature along those lines. It doesn't sound that great when we go, well, I really love all of you, and I guess I'll go home alone again today and just sit there and look at the TV or my dog, I know what you're playing there, but you're right. But you can have both. You can say, I am aware of love for all, and I would love to passionately share that with you. Just own that that's what you're doing. I'm anchoring it with you, whether we're dancing, playing music. John can step up here, feel total inspiration on his own. He doesn't need us for him to do that, does he? And yet, if we respond and we clap along, he might pursue now what you're doing in the audience and play off of that. Right? There you go. That's a co-creation. It not only can, it does exist. We're playing this together. We're all moving and growing. That's heart love. A lot more than what we think is heart love, just simple romance. So, the wounds, bring them to the light. Don't act like I'm just spiritual, I'm going to ignore that. Please. The hurts, the sadness, the fears, the aloneness, do not ignore these things. Keep working them. Bring them to the light. And what you're doing is you're working on one of your chakras. Navel center primarily. When you deal with rage, it's a solar plexus thing. It's your solar, fire plexus. Rage. A lot of, even though it's an emotion, it's here. But this is also thinking and willpower and so forth. What I'm saying in part is anything you study, it's just somewhere in here. What are you into? Ancient civilization, solar plexus. Keep going. Science of mind, solar plexus. What else you want? Buddhism, heart chakra. Next. I'm really getting into ceremony out in the woods, root chakra. Next. And one is not higher than another just because it's anatomically seemingly higher. See, they're just all me. Don't think that when you get to the heart, you know what's next? Woo! No. When you reach the heart, if you're reaching the heart, you might next be back down at the root because your soul is like, You know, I'm going to take a break. Heart, isn't that nice? Okay, you done with the break? We need to go and do some emotional family work again. No, you're kidding. Nope, let's go. And it takes you back to the navel center. Most human beings only do what Buddha called the wheel of life. Root, emotional, solar plexus chakras. That's all. Most people, they're working on these 3 lower centers. You have a diaphragm here that is symbolic. A diaphragm, a band of muscle that says, don't even think about trying to come higher. Oh, but look at me, I'm getting, boom, you hit that and you're bounced back. It's called reincarnation. In between lifetimes, you're still doing the same 3 chakras. Not anymore, because I've read more books. Diaphragm, hit that muscle, you're bounced back. Back to your root chakra where you're born, and you work on emotional and intellectual and physical stuff in these 3 chakras, around, and diaphragm, and bounce back again. That's reincarnation. An ascended master has primarily gotten the lessons of the human lower 3 chakras, the wheel of life, and they penetrate through the diaphragm and they rise to this chakra, the heart center. That's what happens. So an ascended master, see what I just said? They're not part of the wheel of life anymore. They could still incarnate, but they might not. They might say, I'm going to chill here for a while, or they might say, I'm going to help those people from here. Those are the ascended masters you know of. Moses became an ascended master. Kutumi became an ascended master. I mean, Saint Germain, right? These are ascended masters. And they're helping from this higher realm. But just because you say, oh, I'm really opening my heart in a workshop, it doesn't mean you left the workshop as an ascended master. This takes time to integrate. You have to become this thing. To be this thing, you have to become. Become. So you can't think it, hear about it. It's a process. But most human beings don't reach this. It doesn't happen very often. When you do, it's ascended masters, which is why we have a name for them. They're different than most people. But I'm going to share a couple things about that. One, when you get to your heart, and you are allowed to reach your heart, but most human beings, the only way they access their heart, besides the lower 3 chakras they deal with all the time, they reach their heart. It's like they have a pass. Hi, good morning. Guess what we have for you? No. Yes, we have a pass for you. It's a pass to the heart chakra. Oh, must be all the reading and work I've been doing. Thank you. No, actually. You're getting a pass to go to the heart chakra, but the heart chakra has 2 purposes. One of them isn't where you're at. The other one is. It's called the dark night of the soul. And you think that getting a pass to the heart chakra is like, I knew I was wonderful. I just knew it. I get to go hang out with Saint Germain now. And they just, when you arrive, they're all looking at you like, oh, wow, sorry. You know, and you're like, what? Heart chakra? Just breathe. This might hurt a bit. What are you talking about? It's the heart. This is what I thought when I'm like, wow, this is going to be just chill. It's going to be amazing. If I made it through other chakras and so forth and really got to a place of proficiency or mastery to the degree, the heart. Okay, I love you. There, did I pass the test of the heart? Dark night of the soul. And you're going, hey, I'm in the heart. Why are they building that fire? Why are you binding my hands? Well, you're about to enter the heart. Okay, what are we going to sit and meditate? No. Sorry. Go over there and you burn. The dark night of the soul is when you take all the little bits. Your soul does this. It takes all the little bits of physical stuff you didn't quite get right, emotional stuff you didn't, residual. And you get to do it all at once. The residual of these 3, instead of you working on the root, working on the navel, working on the solar plexus, the wonderful dark night of the soul is when you get they sweep it all up, the pieces you left behind, and they use it as wood on the fire. I don't know why I'm getting these visuals, but past lives, we all got burned at the stake at one time or another. Those damn Catholics. No, sorry. It's a joke. So over to the burn pile, and you burn. And how could this be happening? I've been practicing so much good stuff. and they turn the fire up, and you burn. And burning simply means intensifying the lessons. Why? So you, beloved, can see them. We noticed you missed some things. So we've put them at the bottom of the stake. We're going to let you, they're going to become the wood to burn you. Why? Because you won't miss them this time. You'll feel them more intensely. The romance, the broken relationship, the relationship that ended, the father that ignored you, the mother that abused you, it's all wood under the fire to burn you. But when you burn, you are a phoenix. The old you is meant to die. If you come out of that fire going, I'm still not forgiving anyone, they're just going to say, not a problem. Back to earth you go, because you're going to do this anyway. You're going to come back anyway. They send you, because this is only a temporary pass. They're going to send you back, and you're going to have the same things over and over. And every so often, the pieces are swept up, put at the base of the fire, tied to the stake, burnt so you get it. As long as you say, I don't get it, what did you learn? Nothing. Fine. It just means more bonfires. That's all it means. Bring your s'mores. Because this isn't going to be nice, You might as well make it a little bit enjoyable. I mean, why not? Make the best out of it. So you're one of those that you're tied to the stake, the fires are, and you're, roasting marshmallows. If I'm going to burn, I'm taking something else with me. So this is actually how it goes, even though I'm making light of it. It's how it goes. But when they say, what did you learn? You mean from when I was in the fire? Well, when I was in the fire, the flames were rising, and I felt intense pain. About what? I never fully processed my previous life about this. There you go. Good job. What would you like to do with that? I felt complete. Nice. What else did you learn in the fire? Well, in the fire, I saw faces of people that have thrown me under the bus throughout this and other lifetimes. What would you like to do with those? I feel complete. I also saw this. What are you doing with that? I don't feel complete with that one. Not a problem. Okay, just take that one. We'll put it in your file, and it'll meet you later. That's what happens. The dark night of the soul is typically the only way human beings experience the heart. We sit with it, we go through it, we complain about it, we wish it weren't happening. Please don't wish that the dark night weren't happening. Instead, ask God to be with you while you're going through it. Don't say the typical prayer, God, get me out of it. I mean, everybody, think from the most religious to the agnostics to the New Agers. It's so easy, it's irresistible to be in pain and ask for help. With what? Your pain. Which means, get me out of my lessons. Think about it. Do you really want to be taken out of your lessons? And I'm saying, I wouldn't if I were you. I mean, it's hell to go through what you're going through, but I'm telling you, it's the dark night of the soul. Whose soul? Your soul. Your soul has arranged this entire thing for the human self. So my human trinity, physical, emotional, intellectual, is needing to learn lessons because it's become me. It's this, my identity is this. But my soul is saying, but you're really not that. You're more. How am I ever going to know that? Come on in. We'll show you. And it burns the hell out of you. You see? Light it up. Let's go. I mean, that's what the Cathars did. The Cathars were like prior to the Knights Templar. These mystics, the Cathars were like almost like the Essenes that were during the time of Jesus, but later. And the Cathars were held in this castle one of the times. One of the castles, they were all pinned in the castle with the holy war against them. The Catholic Church had sent out an edict that said, kill a Cathar and we'll give you their property. The Cathars were mystics, and the Catholics were mad because the Cathars were teaching, Catholic. The Cathars were the mystic version of the Catholics saying, we don't agree with all this guilt and shame. Why don't we, the Catholics, this is historic, I'm not picking on anyone, why don't we just teach what Jesus actually taught? And they said, no, kill them. Somebody kill them. That's what they did. We don't like what you're saying. What do you mean? I'm just saying let's Keep to what Jesus said instead of making up all these bizarre dogmas and rules and doctrines. No, kill them. So they sent out an edict and hired people to go kill them. So one of the times that they're in a castle, they're pinned down, and to keep it brief, I'll say this. They were told, if you can just disown your beliefs and come back to Catholicism, you can walk out of the castle and you're free. If you don't, we're coming in anyway, because you guys are getting low on food. We're coming in anyway. And then they lit fires and said, we're going to burn you. And you're supposed to be enticing, like inducing rather, fear. The Cathars said, give us 24 hours. They waited 24 hours. They came out of the castle, and the Catholics are like, yes, we got him. They walked in the fires. Can you imagine? They walked into the fire. They were like, you don't get it. This is an illusion. What a huge statement of enlightenment, Course in Miracles consciousness. I mean, they were like, you can't harm us. We're not afraid. And they walked in the fire. That's what we do in the dark night of the soul. We learn to be more and more courageous. You're going to be afraid. You're going to have trouble. This is described in the Psalms as, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I refuse to be afraid because you're with me. That's a summary of that. 23rd Psalm. It's just a summary. But that's what you're all heading for. That's what we're all going for. We're getting to the point where I know the truth, but respect the illusion. I know that I am greater than my past. So when my past is burning, even if it means so-and-so said they'll never talk to me again, walk into the fire and let it be. When I come out of the fire, they're not there. Are you okay with that? Well, I'm a little sad. Cry. Be honest about your feeling. Great. And then stand up and let's go. Mastery. So there has to be this integration process where I become what I'm talking about. And this goes through stages. To become an integrated master, you have to first embrace your wounds. You can't try to no, bypass. It's, I have this hurt, and talk about them. Work through these things. Don't be afraid of them. They have no real power over you, but just be willing to look at them. You then have to be able to embrace your general talents. You can figure out where you are in this few-step process. First, embrace your wounds, work on that. It's not do one before you do another. In a way, it's blended where you're doing some at a time, few at a time. But embrace your hurts, your wounds, your limiting belief systems. Then embrace your general talents. Just own. You're beautiful, you're nice looking maybe. Or maybe you're talented at woodwork, or maybe tapestries. Maybe you're an artist, musician, or maybe a teacher, whatever it is. Just own it. You're not going to get anywhere by being falsely humble and acting like you don't have any talent. Then, after you've owned some talent, you own your soul's purpose. Whose soul's purpose? Mine. That's integration. Integrate. Into me is an integration, right? I go here. So I'm owning my wounds. I'm owning my general talents. I'm owning my soul's purpose. Oh my God, this is really great. Now my gifts are starting to blend with divine guidance. That's your soul's purpose. You're bringing a greater good to the world or whatever. That's a summary of this topic, right? Soul's purpose. Then you have to embrace your soul. Not just your soul's purpose, but remember last week that living at a soul level emotion, soul level living. Now you're going to a whole new level. But what you just did, how many did I name? Anybody know? Exactly. 4. How many chakras are in your torso? What you're doing is you're owning the wounds, you're owning this, soul's purpose, you're owning your soul, heart and soul. See? Everything keeps coming back to this. So now I get it. Now I'm at this. I'm owning my soul. There's still 3 chakras left, but the Lord thy God is 1. So these upper 3 chakras are God's presence, where now I get to own that I am part of God and I am holy. I'm not even at a level of just soul. You know, the place that most humans don't get to. When you even get to the soul, you're not done. If you can get to the soul through growth, not the dark night of the soul, that's an ascended master. But even ascended masters are only ascended masters of the earth plane. There's divine. Buddha was an ascended master of the earth plane. He, like other greats, Moses and whomever, that's beautiful. Jesus was the one that said, this isn't enough. I'm going all the way home. A complete remembrance of my divinity. I don't have the keys to this world. I have the keys to the universe. All consciousness. I don't care how high, how interdimensional, how multidimensional a being is or thinks it is. It's not the same. I'm not pushing Christianity here by any stretch. I'm saying Christ as a consciousness. It's our true divine remembrance, divine consciousness. So that's what the fifth step is in this integration process. Don't say, I'm going to go for number 5, guys. Just let it be organic, but see where you're at. From what he's talked about so far, he described the root chakra as being physical things, yoga, health, fitness, accidents, body work, etc. All, root stuff. And then he talked about also, you have to own wounds. All that he's talking about root, that's me. I really relate. That's going to empower you to move through the rest. Thinking you're elsewhere when you're here is not going to help you. Own where you are, and then you can get where you want to be. Don't wish you were somewhere else, not owning where you are, then you're just stuck. Okay? So, continuing on, you have these other chakras. The heart chakra has its symptoms, but the other, I'm going to summarize this piece. All of these are called the 7 initiations on the spiritual path. You could narrow them down to 5 if you're trying to simplify the conversation. Clearly we have 4 centers here, just like we have 4. Look at this. 4 limbs to match the 4 chakras. 4 primary endocrine glands to go with these chakras. It makes total sense. But then you get up here, and it's God. But look at the body, guys. Look at how my body is X wide. Look at how narrow it is when we get to the neck, right? You notice that? Shoulders, neck. Jesus says, to get to me, to get to heaven, which is where? The way is narrow. Got it? The way is narrow. Because you can't be human. You have to refine and get to where all you want is this chakra, the spoken word of God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was Christ. I, the Christ, am the spoken word or creation of God. So the upper 3 chakras are God. In God, there's 3. Father, Mother, Son. Son meaning the sonship, all of us, the children of God. But you can't just wish, acting as human as you can be and then wishing you were the Christ. This is a process of refinement. Your humanness has to die of its old and rise like the phoenix, the heart that resurrects. And then once you've died of the human and become the soul, there's going to be a time when the soul surrenders itself to the divine. That's the Christ self. Your heart isn't even the Christ, even though we talk about the heart being so important. It's not. That's the collective consciousness. The heart's where we're all connected. It's brotherhood. It's humanitarianism. It's love. It's forgiveness. But it isn't yet God, because in God, there is no other to forgive. There's no work. This still involves certain being, doing, interaction, human lessons. In God, it's like, it's just beyond that. Here, I really understand forgiveness and I extend it. Here, what are you talking about? Forgive what? Well, because I did this and that. Oh, you're talking about the past. Well, I did this to your body. Oh, that's root chakra. I don't think I can even access those memories. I abandoned you when you were a child and, I'm your dad, your mom. That's emotional. Okay, well, you want to talk about that? Let me see if I can go back and remember that. Emotional chakra. Oh, yeah, God, that was really painful. Work it through. But there's a point where you go, I don't have it. It's not there. You forgive me if you need me to. I'm done. But if you're not, hold on. Oh, okay, how we doing? You might do it for their amusement, but you really feel complete. It's beautiful. So, this is like the Kundalini. What we think is a spiritual path, we're sitting in this room or we're doing other things. You're out at a family picnic or you're seeing a counselor, whatever you do in life, you're having dinner, whatever. What you're really doing is not doing what you think. You are always, the Kundalini rising. You are on your way home. It's just not linear. You're rising, but slowly for some, less slow for others. The more you allow each chakra, each part of your consciousness to be healed, the sooner you're here. The sooner you're here, the sooner you're here. So it's not a coincidence. It's not happenstance. It's not. My soul is on a journey without distance to a place I never left. I'm experiencing remembrance. When I'm in my human self, I'm talking about all the details of the doing world. When I get here, it just feels like, wow. And you'll be tempted to feel like, why even bother? That human stuff is just so silly. So here's a nutshell of what it can look like for most of us. In my life, it was linear because I needed to learn to see it so I could teach about this, so that people can go, oh my God, I got it. All this effort, and it was all silly sometimes, right? So for me, long story short, I spent time not knowing all this. I was a kid, but I was like, if we're supposed to be greatness, like God, we're physical people, right? Okay, so we need to do this right. We should have like a proficient amount, just this profound level of mastery physically. So I studied martial arts and herbalism and healing arts, and I just went, wow, look at me. I'm wonderful. I attained all this physical mastery, sacred sexuality, all these things. I'm like, I got it down. I'm pretty much done. You can take me up any minute. Then I got introduced to the emotional chakra. Listen, trust me on this. Ginseng doesn't make your parents go away. You can inject it and it's not going to work. All of your physical things, massages, it doesn't make your emotional stuff disappear. You got to work the emotional. So I'm working the emotional, family of origin, the psychology, blah, blah, blah. Just all these things of life, psychic development and so on. So now I'm like, now I got it. Because I got the physical, not knowing about this. I got the physical and the emotional. We're good. Beam us up. And then I got introduced, do you know anything here? Like intellectually, solar plexus? Do you know willpower? Do you know this and things of that nature? No. And I'm meeting people that have read thousands of books and they're like, you don't know, Michael. You're physical and herbalism and massage and you whined about your mother. Okay, Michael, have you read this first edition from the year 1715? And I'm like, oh, so I'm supposed to read and learn? Yes. So I started buying books that I never read, and every penny, driving into the city to find some other place that had ancient books, I swear, because the masters of that chakra tell you that that's what you need to do. So I'm doing that and I'm studying, okay, developing a little more mind. Now I'm done. Then comes the dark night of the soul, the heart chakra. And at that point I'm like, well, but that's going to be easy compared to studying all this stuff. And it was the dark night of the soul, because that's where you go first. You don't go into spiritual peace. It's the dark night. So the dark night gathers any extra pieces, and the dark night happens for a few reasons. One, teaching you to integrate what you heard, what you read, what you studied. Become it. Stop talking, become it. It also teaches you faith and patience. It also teaches you to basically let go of all that you thought you were in the past, like false identifications. I've studied, I'm 20 years, blah, 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 and I'm the premier surgeon in the world. A fire comes and burns your certificate and your license. You get sued for malpractice, and you sit there going, am I really a doctor? That's the dark night of the soul. You start doubting. I was a wonderful mother, but my ex took the kids, and they don't like me, and I don't even know why. Dark night of the soul. I'm sorry, and it's painful. But I need to know that I'm a good mom, period. Not because they're here telling me. You see? Anything you're attached to has to go. Now, some things might slip by and they'll just come around next time. A few years later, the dark night of the soul. But it all has to go. All your false beliefs have to go. That's the dark night of the soul. Okay? All that said, the short version of the ending is just, when I got to this place, I went through the dark night. Now, each chakra, I was like, now I got it. Still, no. So now I'm like, this is all an illusion. The books, the tarot cards, the astrology charts, the herbs. I got it. I'm awake. Yes. And I felt this ascension into a version, of a level of the Christ. It's not like this is done once and you're done. So I ascended into, oh my God, I am the Christ. I am Christ. I get it. All that's an illusion. It's like having memorized A Course in Miracles. It's all an illusion. I am as God created me. I will to be the Christ on earth. And wow. But I went through hell. And the next chakra, the mother takes you. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? The mother. Father, Mother, God, and the child. I'm the child. So the mother is the next chakra. And she takes you and says, honey, how was that? Oh, Mom. Oh, my God. I mean, I'm partly happy and I saw through it all, but oh, my God, so much pain. I know, honey. Just rest. Thank you, Divine Mother. And you'll find yourself in a period like all of the past is gone. In the book of Revelation, all tears wiped away. And you're like, that's the mother taking care of you after life's stuff. Okay? And then there's a point. You hear another voice. Where is he? That's the Father. He's right here, honey. Okay. Son, yes. Get up. It's time. Where are we going? Back to earth. No, wait a minute. I just went through the real hell to realize that that's an illusion. You're just testing me. No, you're going back. Just like the Kundalini reaches the crown, spills over to the third eye, and then comes back down, the microcosmic orbit, so do you. Even when you've reached a certain amount of divine attainment, you're coming back. Why? Because in the 12-step program, you end with, and it's not an ending, bring the program to others. So you rise up the back, you get to the crown, to the third eye. Oh, I'm so enlightened. Yes, now take it to others. Wait, what? There are no others. I know, but they think there are others and they have issues. And you now understand things at a new level, don't you? Well, yes, but they need your help. So what's really strange, you talk to think about abandonment, is when you're in God and then sent back. So that's what happens and what happened, what I experienced. It's nothing but beautiful, honestly, but confusing and painful at the time. When you even reach the highest, my cup runneth over, is what that means in the 23rd Psalm. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. In the presence of my enemies, meaning all this work you're doing. The dark night of the soul, valley of the shadow of death, that's you moving up. Then it says, you anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over. That's David describing awakening, going through hell and keeping his faith, reaching the crown, spilling over. Thy cup runneth over, my cup runneth over. And that's why the pharaohs had headdresses that had the serpent here. It was a symbol of the Kundalini having risen and spilled over, meaning I got it. But you don't sit there walking, just ascending into heaven, and nor should you come to earth and go, look at me, I'm glowing. What are you bringing? All that you learn needs to come here. We need you. We need your help. Okay? And that's total integration. That's the greatest version of integration. There's all kinds of minor versions. You learn how to be a life coach, and you integrate that and you become it. You don't just talk life coach, you become it, and they really love you and trust you. Good job. That's of one level or another. You become a shaman, you become a football trainer, whatever, and a mother, you become good at it. That's fantastic. That's one step. That went from embracing your wounds to embracing some of your talents. Have you gotten to your soul's purpose yet? Have you gotten to your soul yet? Have you gotten to spirit yet? Keep working it, because it's coming. And we're all moving in that direction very clearly, very obviously. And a new dispensation is coming to the earth now as we speak, where people are being told, okay, the door here, the diaphragm, it's widening, and we're inviting certain people, several people, up to the heart center to do more work directly on the heart level. They have to, however, know their soul, because that's the heart and soul. Daughters of Heaven, which we've talked about, light workers of some groups, parts, people within the light worker community. This is opening up. Don't assume that I'm only talking about you. I'm talking about God says there's a divine plan. Things are starting to intensify towards their ending now in this planet dimension. This is widening. We need more groups up here to come to the heart and help humanity. So even if you feel like you're down here, here's what's going to happen. God is basically saying to you, you can stay down there with everybody else, wounded and, dealing with the lower 3 chakra issues. You'll be waking up in those issues, though. You won't just be trapped by them. Good job. But would you be willing to speed that up and heighten the fire on that process? Let this open. Would you be willing to come here? And of course, be careful. Oh, of course, to the heart. Be careful what you ask for, because it could mean intensifying some of your lessons. If you can't handle that, please don't say I'm ready. At the very least, what I would do if I were you, I don't know if I'm ready. Mother, Holy Spirit, Divine Mother, you decide. You show me where I need to best be of service. Surrender to her. That's what Jesus did, and it seemed to work out for him. Please take a few centering breaths. When you inhale, hear those words, I am. When you exhale, hear the words at peace or the word relaxed, whichever you prefer. I am, but affirm it, know it, commit to it. I am relaxed, I am at peace. What did you hear that made sense? Own it. It wasn't told to you. I got it. I got it. And I'm ready for more. Mother. Divine Mother, guide me. I get that these things I've talked about, friends that are into this and that we're not separate. All things are within me. They're one chakra or another. They're one part of my development or another. If I want to grow, it won't come from reading the next best book. It'll come from me living it. So read the best books that guide you further along. If they don't seem to serve you, a meditation for that matter, technique, might have very little effect. Then don't do it. Go with what really works and takes you furthest, fastest. Look at how one of you asked about the word humility. Do you not hear a whole teaching about humility in this talk? Look at it. All that I thought I was and needed to do, etc., it just comes back to where I have these lessons, and it's up to my soul. I'm learning these lessons. In ancient times, the tribes of Israel journeyed the desert, and they were guided by what seemed to be a glowing cloud in the sky. It was called by them the Holy Shekinah. It's the presence of the Divine Mother. The United States uses that cloud hovering above in its seal, in some of its money even, because it's honoring that e pluribus unum. One created out of many nations, many people, many beliefs, but coming closer to God. But they're humans. They don't always get it, but look at the concept. that there's that cloud. It means God guides me. So let's look for that. Let's call for that. Where's the cloud right now? It's in the atmosphere, but I'd like you to visualize a cloud forming above your head, above this room. You, Divine Mother, we call upon you, as did the people of Israel. We're calling upon you. Let what was empty, just invisible in the ethers, start to become a cumulus, a cloud, because we've called on her. The Mother always manifests in some form when we ask for her. So there's a cloud forming above you, above us. Yes, I see you, Mother. I see you. I see, I hear, I feel your presence. The notes being played are the music of my body, my soul, sending a frequency and a vibration through my being to call, to be in the right state of mind, to see and feel your presence. Let the cloud now glow more and more. Yes, 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 yes. Glowing, glowing, glowing. Yes. See the cloud lifting out of you anything that inhibits your divinity, your awareness. See it lifting, whether it's thoughts, images of faces of people of the past, events. Trust it. Let them come up and out. Let her lift them out of your being. Don't analyze them. Don't worry about them. Just see them. Yes, yes, take. It's yours. Take it. It's fine. It's yours. My heart. This altar becoming clear, purified, made sacred. And then feel like raindrops, light sprinkling from that cloud into your heart and soul, down through your crown. Here she comes. Here comes the sun, the light of God, showering upon me. Bring this to me, Mother, bring this to me now. It is your will. My heart opening, and the rest of me, my physical, emotional, intellectual self, that's going to follow what I've decided in my heart. If I believe in my heart that I'm deserving, the rest of me is going to follow. And I said so. Say from your crown, from your heart to the body, be still and know the I am presence of God. That's enough of that other stuff. Feel that? Let your soul make a sound. Blend it with everyone. You don't need to stand out. Don't sing louder or quieter. Just find it. Your soul, sing to the Mother. Half a minute more. A little more. Oh. hand or two. Divine Mother, you have made holy my heart and soul. You have made it as pure and holy as my divine self. In my heart are my beliefs and my core patterns, core issues, core beliefs. And you have made these holier than ever today. My human self, let go, let God. We are okay. And so it is. Beautiful. We've addressed most of your questions and comments. You asked about divine love. See, that's here. There's conditional love, unconditional love, divine love. There's a difference. You asked about unification. Hopefully you heard that in the talk. Jesus gave a great example about integrate your past. Integrate, become what you talked about, learned, become. And then you'll learn more, and then you become that, and you rise, till eventually I go from human becoming, soul becoming, spirit being. We're going to take up our collection and do our closing prayer. Please be as generous as you can be. We appreciate it. Yeah. Please take your love offering. First, anytime you give, tune into gratitude. It enhances what you're saying thank you for. Grateful for this center, the talk, the friendships, the people, the vibes, the intentions. Just so grateful. This is, the center itself is a daughter of heaven. Together, please. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Thank you. We'll do our closing prayer in just about a minute. Can anyone share what they learned or heard today that can make a difference in your life? What I described is a lot of what you've been going through. Nice. Nice. Right on. Remember, there's a purpose to all this. It's true. There's a purpose to. You're not doing random things. They're all part, one chakra or another, one state of consciousness or another, getting worked on. Nothing you study is better than anyone else's study. It's yours. And it's not better than yesterday's study. It's yours. Therefore, it's perfect. But do you want to settle for yesterday's lessons? They're great, but do you want to stay with those, or can we take it up a notch? Yes, dear.
I was going to say, and that brought it into releasing self-judgment. I mean, just knowing that, yep, it's a process, you can go through it, but it's totally released.
Seeing it from another level releases the self-judgment, because you get it. It's amazing. Yes.
I loved how you said, first of all, I love that you're talking about example, but I loved your analogy of family and how everyone has their path, because you get so fixated in wanting to share.
Yeah.
The more excited that you are, the more that you try to share it, the more they're like, "Look."
Yeah.
And I love that acceptance is the most important thing, because in order to have that, so I love that.
One of the biggest lessons of the dark night of the soul, one of the other ones, is acceptance. Learning, breathe, acceptance. And as you said, for you, one of the big lessons, metaphors and examples is dealing with family, not pushing them to be different, but not letting them push you to be different. We're all okay. Very rarely have I ever gone into someone's house or to a store and looked at somebody and went, you know what you need to do differently? I just don't have that. I don't, it's not a hard sell for me. I don't, have you heard the word of the Lord? Or whatever other terminology. You can speak, but are you living it first? That feels good to me. I love feeling like what you see is what you get. I mean, I'm odd on stage and I'm odd off stage. I see things very multidimensionally on stage and I see them off stage. But I actually have to try to be in my body to drive a car. I mean, and I need to do the announcements. See? It's all the same to me. I like to dress in looser, comfortable clothes here or after. It's pretty consistent. So looking for how we live in conflict and clearing those conflicts is helpful. Becoming more true to what are we doing on this path? What did you learn and what did you become? Because whatever you learned from your last lessons, and I swear to you, your soul is always asking your human, what did you learn? If you say nothing, the soul can only ever assign you the same lessons. When you show that you've learned something, it will make adjustments to tomorrow's lessons. The soul determines your lessons. God already sees you as holy and will go along with what you say. The human self looks like it's going through experiences, but those are just the assignments of the soul. The soul says, we're going to go through this and see if you can clean that up a bit. You don't, it says, okay, we'll do it again. You do, and it says, nice job. We have new lessons for tomorrow. That's what's happening. This isn't, if I let you down, I don't do a good enough talk for you, you go, he's terrible. You're the one who didn't get it. Why did you manifest me doing a terrible job? There's a saying we have here in Sedona in regards to the rising crime rate, because there's people that purse snatchers and burglars here, just like anywhere else, but there's a difference. Here, if somebody runs by and grabs your purse and takes it, as they run away, they wave back and said, why do you create that? See? Even our criminals are more enlightened than those found in other cities. Please stand for our closing prayer. Good. Feeling gratitude. Oh, how nice. How amazing to be in the midst, we all feel, of our brothers and sisters. There's so many other things we could be doing right now in the sense of human stuff. Watching a movie, watching a game, all the stuff of the world. I could be out having lunch again. Really? Is that as high as you go? I'm grateful that I changed my soul's vibration today. You can still go eat, but that wouldn't have changed your vibration the same way. Thank you. Friends, we say to each other online and around the world and here, thank you. Somehow we co-created this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Mother, you've orchestrated all of this in alignment with our soul beliefs. Thank you. We are part of God and we are holy. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are, and so it is, always. Peace be with you all. Thank you. Thank you, John DeMoss, for being with us again. Remember to say thank you. He's out in the lobby. If you'd like to give an extra donation to him, please do, for being here. And he's got products out there as well. Thank you.